So if it comes to here, in yesterday, I have taught you what is the nutrition in amoeba, understanding, and as well as nutrition in paramecia. Is it yes or no? So if it comes to here next,
Yes, sir.
so nutrition in complex multicellular animals. So in that complex multicellular animal, we have a tube-like structure, a long tube which is running from mouth to the anus. So every animal as well as human being, everything in which all the digestion as well as absorption of food will takes place. So that is only we used to call it as what we should call
Alimentary.
alimentary canal. So that is what we have studied. Understand? In the last class. So this alimentary canal, as we know that we should call it as the name for the alimentary canal is
Gut.
gut. So now, if you understand this, then we can see, as we know, not only in a human being, any kind of multicellular animal. So this is what we used to call it as. Understand? So now let us see in today's class, we will discuss what is the nutrition in human beings, or we used to call it as human digestive system. So if you'll observe, human digestive system, human digestive system. So let us start with here. So if we'll observe the nutrition in human beings or any kind of man, understanding, it will take place through human digestive system. So where it will take place? All the digestive process, all the nutrition process will take place in human beings. In where? It will take place in human digestive system. So like everywhere, animal it will take place, animal digestive system. Understanding? Cow it will take place, cow digestive system. Dog it will take place, dog digestive system. Like that it is human. So that is why it is the nutrition process will take place, understanding, in human beings through the human digestive system. So if you observe this human digestive system consists of the alimentary canal and it is associative glands. Understanding? Means the glands which are involving in this digestive system as well as one tube-like structure from mouth to anus. That is only we used to call it as what we should call. What we should call?
Alimentary canal. Alimentary canal.
Do you understand? Alimentary canal and as well as associated glands. Associated glands. What is the use of these glands? They will secrete some kind of digestive juices which will help in digestion. Is it yes or no? Yes?
Yes, sir.
We will study that also.
Yes, sir.
So if you observe here, the human digestive system consists of these are the two things. One is alimentary canal as well as associative glands. So now if you see what is the various organs in this human digestive system is present and what is the sequence order wise. That is the most important question used to come so many times. So what is the correct sequence of human digestive system? So if we start with the human digestive system, everybody, most important thing. So what is the first part? What is the first part?
Mouth.
Mouth. Understand? Don't try. Where it will begins. Mouth. Mouth open. Mouth after. Immediately the food will enter into food pipe. Food pipe. So that food pipe only we used to call as. What we should call? What we should call?
Esophagus.
Esophagus. Understand? So esophagus is only we used to call as. What we should call? If you're feeling difficulty to remember this, what we should call?
Food pipe.
Food pipe.
Food pipe.
Now, food is entering into mouth after esophagus. So esophagus is over. So directly it will reach us to where? Where?
Stomach.
Understand? So it will reach us to stomach. So now stomach after Intestine is present.
Intestinal wall.
Which intestine? Small intestine.
Small
Small
intestine.
intestine.
Small intestine. Small intestine. So after the small intestine, understanding? So it will enter into large intestine.
Large intestine.
Large intestine. Large intestine.
So these are the organs which are present, understanding? In where? Alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. Finally, as we know that large intestine only at the end we are having anus. That is, let it be, leave it. Now, if it comes to here, the glands which are associated with the human digestive system and they will form a part of the human digestive system. What is that? This is the sequence of water. What is the sequence this is? This is the various organs of human digestive system, that is mouth to the large intestine. So as well as
Large
if you see the glands, can you able to say the glands? Starts with the mouth now. So if you are in a mouth, we are doing a
Saliva.
and grinding. So
Saliva.
our mouth
Salivary gland.
to get something.
Salivary
What is
gland.
that?
Salivary gland.
Which will be useful in our grinding the food. Understand? When we are chewing and grinding, which will be useful to mix the food well. So that is only what we used to call the, what is the glands helpful?
Salivary gland.
Yeah. So the glands which are helpful in our human digestive system, associated glands. What is the first glands?
Salivary gland.
Salivary gland.
Understanding? So salivary glands which are in mouth. So later, directly it will enter into esophagus and it will reaches to the, understanding, stomach. So in stomach we have some kind of a big part in our body. What is that?
Gastric glands.
Liver.
Gastric glands.
Understanding? Salivary glands, liver, and also is to called as next part of the gland, pancreas. What we should call?
Pancreas.
So these are the
Pancreas.
glands which will be useful in our digestive system. So that is why these three are called as, understanding, associative glands which are related to the, which will helpful, which will involve in human digestive system. Do you understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So write
Yes,
this process as well as this associative glands. All of you write it. Good morning, all of you. Those who join now also. Still so many need to join. Do it. Jesse not yet joined. You can call to Jesse. Nitish Kumar also not there. Inform him, Rao. Nitish is there. Those who are absent, you can inform Rao. Good morning, Varshini. Is it completed? Please tell me.
No, sir.
Do it. Very, very important this one. Mouth to large intestine. Remember the process. Nothing, it is not a difficult one. Very easy.
Yes, sir. Completed.
Completed?
Yes, sir.
So, shall we move? So now,
Yes, sir.
let us see. So as we know that our human digestive system starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. So now that is only we used to call it as. We have some name of that. So what we used to call that name? Alimentary
Canal.
canal.
Alimentary canal.
Alimentary canal.
So okay. So if we'll observe here, so this alimentary canal, understand? So this alimentary canal, if you see from mouth to the anus, it is, if you just measure almost, understanding, it is understanding how much you are expecting, what is the length of that, can anybody expect? You already studied that. What is, if you measure the length from mouth to the anus, the length of this alimentary canal, anybody? It's not studied or studied? Not studied, correct? Just we have finished it. Okay. So if it comes to here, the human alimentary canal, which runs from mouth to the anus, is about 9 meters long tube. Just try this. But it is how much long? How much?
9 meters long.
9 meters long. That is the length of alimentary canal. That is one of the most important one in MCQs. Remember that. The length of the alimentary canal, which runs from mouth to the anus, is 9 meters. So okay, you can I can speak few minutes. So that so if we'll take this, it will be 9 meters long tube, and if you'll observe the ducts of various glands open into this, understanding, alimentary canal, and they will pour the secretions of digestive juices into the alimentary canal. Do you understand? So when it is passing from mouth to the anus, middle, somewhere they are having a openings, like in the sense of ducts we used to call. So these ducts of this liver, understanding, as well as pancreas, everything, whatever it is involving in the digestive system. So they will be directly secrete this, understanding, juices. They will secrete the digestive juices and they will directly pour into this alimentary canal. So that is why the human digestive system, understanding, is also involved in this. Means in the sense of this nutrition in the human being or a man, which again having a same 5 steps which we have studied in amoeba as well as in paramecium. So at the end, I will explain you with the help of diagram very clearly how the process will be begins at where and it will be where it will ends. So if it comes to the first process, what is the first process involved in the human digestive system? What is the first process involved? What is the first process? So if it comes to here, the length of alimentary canal is 9 meters from mouth to anus. From mouth to anus, and the glands will directly, they are having a ducts, understand? So ducts of glands is opening directly, understanding, directly, very understanding, opening into the alimentary canal and pour the secretions of digestive juices into the alimentary canal directly. Ducts of glands opens into alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. So what is the use of this ducts? Ducts in the sense of like a pipe, some connection, understand? Suppose this is alimentary canal means, so here some ducts will be connected, understanding? So which will be, suppose here one gland will be there, understanding? So directly the juice will join into the alimentary canal. So that is what we used to call them. So now if you observe here, what is the first process, Ra? Every nutrition process, what is the first one?
Ingestion.
Ingestion, understand? So all of you right. Ingestion. So if we see here, ingestion means, can you able to say what is the ingestion in human beings? So the
Taking enough food.
The process of intaking of food by mouth.
We are the like amoeba and paramecium. Like amoeba, we have a fixed organ. We have a fixed organ for ingestion. What is that organ name called as? For taking food. For taking food. Mouth. Understand?
Right.
If you observe that unicellular organism like amoeba, there is no kind of a particular organ, a fixed organ for taking food. That is why amoeba always will produce a two finger-like understanding, structures. What we used to call that?
Pseudopodia.
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 Which we have studied in last class. Yes, sir? So nobody should
Yes,
forget
sir.
that. So if it comes to the human beings, ingestion process, understanding, we have a special organ for this ingestion of food. Ingestion of food. So that is only we used to call as what would you call? Mouth.
Mouth.
Mouth. So now, so in human beings, food is ingested. Food is ingested through. Understanding? Food is ingested through what?
Mouth.
Ingested.
Esophagus.
Hands. Through mouth.
Understanding? Very simple. Ingested through mouth. So, whatever the food we are going to eat, that food is put into this mouth with the help of whom? With the help of
Hand.
hand.
Hands.
What? Ingestion. That's all. So ingestion means we have a special organ for the human. Understand? We not human beings. Human beings have a special organ for the ingestion of food. So that is only called as mouth. So in this human beings, food is ingested through this mouth. So whatever the food we are keeping, that mouth with the help of hand. So that is what ingestion. So now ingestion is over. It is entering into the mouth. Then what is the second process? What is the second?
Digestion.
Chewing and grinding. Chewing and grinding.
Understanding. Nutrition, Amma. Nutrition. Nutrition, what is the second step? Digestion. Yes, sir?
Digestion.
So now,
Yes, sir.
amoeba, if you'll see, suppose unicellular organism I am saying, digestion will start after entering into inside the cell. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If you'll observe, in human beings, digestion will begin at mouth itself. Digestion will begin at mouth itself. Understand?
Mouth itself.
So, the digestion of food begins in the mouth itself. So, if you take that, the digestion of food starts as soon as we put food in our mouth. So, whenever it is entering into from our hand to our mouth, immediately the digestion will start. Sir, how, sir? Means. So, if we take the food, understanding, into our mouth cavity. So, this mouth cavity, we have another name of this. Can you save that? This. Whenever you
Buccal cavity, sir.
buccal cavity. So, whenever the food is entering into this mouth, or else this mouth cavity, or we used to call as, this is only the important names. Understanding? What we should call? Buccal cavity.
Buccal cavity.
Buccal cavity. Understanding? It contains what? It contains what? Our buccal cavity contains what inside? You people are having what?
Teeth.
Teeth. Is it only teeth you have? Is it
Salivary glands.
Salivary gland. Salivary gland.
glands present at where?
Tongue, sir. Tongue.
Tongue.
Is it tongue is helping us to grind the food or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes or not?
Yes, sir. It helps.
Yes,
It
sir.
helps to mix the food with saliva.
Understanding? Whenever the food, understanding. So entering into our mouth, so our mouth cavity contains teeth, tongue, and salivary glands. It contains what? Teeth,
Salivary gland.
tongue,
Tongue and salivary.
teeth, tongue, and salivary glands.
Salivary gland.
So now you see. So we'll go slowly, clearly, all of you understand. So you should remember directly, no need to by heart here. So now, once it is enters, so when you kept inside, first our teeth will involve. So what will happen, Ra? Our teeth will cut into what?
Chewing and grinding the food into
Our teeth,
Simpler substance.
all substances.
our teeth will cut into small pieces. Small pieces, and it will help in chewing and grinding. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Chewing and grinding the food.
Grinding.
Chewing and grinding in it. So now, here, that is why this chewing and grinding, we have a name called as Understanding. Digestion, again it will be classifying into two types. What is that? Physical digestion. What we should call?
Physical digestion.
Digestion. Understanding. And opposite to this, who will be there?
Chemical digestion.
Chemical digestion.
Chemical digestion. So physical digestion as well as chemical digestion. So if you'll observe, our teeth only will help in this physical digestion. So the salivary glands in our mouth, they will start producing the saliva, understanding, which will help in mixing the food. And also our tongue, which is present, will help in mixing this saliva with food. So what is the use of tongue? What is the use of this tongue?
Helps in mixing the
Saliva.
saliva with
It
food.
will released by the saliva.
Helps in mixing the saliva with food.
Will mix with the food with the help of tongue. So tongue is only understanding, helps in mixing this saliva with food. So now, so what is the saliva? What is the saliva? We are studying saliva. What is saliva? What is saliva? Tell me. It looks like a what? Is it looks like a water or not? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Is it looks like a water or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sir, why we need saliva? Can anybody answer? Suppose you will eat something which is stuck in throat or something. Immediately you will ask water. Or else will something you will get a cough or not while you are eating cough. While you are eating suddenly you will get a cough. Immediately you will take water. Why we need to take water? Suppose, how many of you know mixie? Do you know mixie?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Mixie or not? Others, boys,
Yes, sir.
while our mother is keeping mixie, you may notice it. She will add water. Do you notice it?
Yes, sir.
Why? Why
Yes,
she is
sir.
adding water? Suppose
Sir, to grain nicely, sir.
while you are preparing the duff with the kind of understanding that rice and another that mixing and all, that mixie will produce much sound. It cannot rotate freely unless until if you add enough water. Have you noticed it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All of
Yes,
you.
sir.
That is.
Yes, sir.
What is the use of that adding water, which will make to run smoothly? Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
In our digestive system also, if you'll observe, what is the use of the salivary glands means? So the salivary glands which are present in our mouth, they will produce what? Saliva. What they will produce? Saliva.
Saliva.
So now, these saliva will be mixed, understanding, with the food with the help of tongue, understanding. And what is this saliva means? Like water. This saliva is a watery liquid. What is saliva? They will define. They will ask you to define.
Watery liquid.
Understand? Saliva is a watery liquid. It is not water. Watery liquid. It contains understanding. It is that is why it is understanding some other kind of thing. It is not water. So it is a watery liquid. So it will wet the food in our mouth. It will make the wet. Like water if we add, come freely to grind. Like same way, whenever this watery liquid will remix it with the food, then the food will become wet in our mouth. So these wetted food can be swallowed more easily compared to the like a dry food, like powder like structure. So for example, real life I am saying you may notice it few times, which we can prepare like some powder like substances, very sweety powders and all. If we try to swallow it, we people can see it will stuck in our tongue or upper part of the jar. Is it yes or no? We people cannot feel that much good to eat that powder. Do you notice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Immediately we people will drink the water. Have you remembered or not?
Yes, sir.
I have faced that
Yes, sir.
because my mother belongs to Karnataka.
Horlicks, sir.
Karnataka, they used to give some nutrition food for the baby and mother, some like powder like substance. So powder, you may see that boost also.
Kerala.
boost while you are eating directly instead of mixing with milk. It will stuck on our upper part and we are feeling not convenient to directly swallow it. So our tongue will involve there. Like that we people will do. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So why
Yes, sir.
means?
Yes, sir.
Substance, is it we are chewing? So why sir it is happening? Why can't we swallow it? Means if in a solid like rice, we are chewing and grinding. So by the time our salivary glands will release the saliva so that it will mix with the help of tongue. Like this side, this side, this side, and up. Understand? So now, if you'll observe, when we are eating these powder-like substances, what will happen? We are not doing the process called as grinding and as well as saliva is not mixing with that. Is it yes or no? Because no grinding process is going on. No breaking, no grinding process going on. Why? Why it is not going on? Because already
Because
it
it is in
Already is grain, sir.
already it is powder substance. Already the substance is broken into small powder. So that what will happen? We people, we are not doing the process called as chewing. You can see while you are eating rice, you will chew it. If you are Horlicks, are you people are chewing? Yes? Not. Yes or no? So that is the reason. If you take the saliva, so saliva is a water liquid which will wet the food in our mouth, and this wet food only can be swallowed more easily. So many times we have observed that when we see or when we eat food which we really like, our mouth automatically waters. Have you noticed it or not? If you like your favorite food, automatically our mouth will become wet. Wet in the sense of saliva will be reproduced. Generally also, I don't know how we will speak in Telugu. Tamil. Telugu we can speak. When if I will see my favorite food, then like Telugu we can say, "Are nee notlo neellu urutunnayi." Neellu in the sense of saliva. Do you know Tamil?
Mouth water.
We people discuss correct ra? Tell me, or if you see your favorite food, then what you can say? Our water, our mouth automatically the water will come out. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that is what because of this is only. So that is automatically will take place. So that is even that is not in our control also. So if we'll observe here, when if you'll see that, if you'll observe many times in our daily life, if you'll observe while you are eating or while you are seeing our favorite dishes on something, our mouth will waters because watering of mouth is due to Vaira, production of what? Production of what?
Saliva.
Saliva. Understand? So production of
Only
saliva.
if chewing.
When
I
we
have a doubt.
when we
Only if chewing and grinding process takes place, then only the saliva mixes with food. So
saliva mixed with the food, but when you will see also, we will feel that understanding. We are when we like your favorite food, automatically our glands which are present here, saliva glands, automatically we will feel that like a emotional. Yes, my favorite food. Like that we will do it. Actions. Yes or no? I like this food very much like that. Yes or no?
yes, sir.
So automatically it will be understanding, religious, everything. Okay. So
Okay.
now Dina asked one question. Sir, what is the composition, chemical composition of this saliva? So if we take this saliva, actually, Dina, for particularly for yours, I'm saying. So actually, this saliva contains so many kinds of like elements like if you take human saliva, understanding, it contains sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, as well as bicarbonates, phosphates, everything. Also, we can find immunoglobulins will be there. Like hemoglobin, immunoglobulins will be there. It contains immunoglobulins, proteins, enzymes, mucins, and all any kind of like nitrogenous products. This is also saliva contains. Is it okay, da? Okay, da? And this is all just 1%. Dina, this is all just 1%. If it comes to the major percent, we are calling as a watery liquid, means in the sense
Water, sir.
of 99% who will contains. So 99% it contains water,
Water.
and 1% it contains, understanding, only 1% it contains proteins and like salts, whatever the salts I have told you, carbonates, understanding. That is, do you understand nitrogenous compounds and all? Is it okay, da, Dina? Okay, da?
Okay, sir.
That is what just you should know it, correct? That is what that is. So now, okay. So our mouth, we have a salivary glands. They will produce they will start watering whenever you will see a food or else when you start eating. So this saliva only will help in swallowing the food very easily. Understand? So now these salivary glands in chemical digestion by secreting enzymes. So it secretes, understand, so many kinds of chemical substances. So only we used to put this one, chemical digestion, or we can call physical digestion. So still grinding and chewing only, it is called as, what we should call? Physical
digestion.
Whenever the saliva will start mixing, means in the sense of, it will secrete so many chemicals. So that is why the salivary glands help in chemical digestion by secreting enzymes also. Understand? So now, the human saliva contains an enzyme called as a main very, very important enzyme called as, understand, salivary amylase. Remember, what is that enzyme? What is that enzyme name? Enzyme which is released by
Salivary amylase.
What is that? What is that? Salivary amylase. Note it down, everybody. So that is only called as salivary amylase. Understanding? AMYLASE. So this is the gland which is secreting, which is the understanding, which is which is enzyme which is released by salivary gland. So now these salivary amylase which digest the starch present in food into sugar. So what is the use of this salivary amylase enzyme? So whatever the food we are eating water, glucose or starch. We are eating all the stored food of plants and animals. Is it yes or no? Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
We are eating all the stored food of plants and animals. So the stored food contains what? It contains starch or glucose. It contains starch or glucose.
Starch.
Starch is a complex food or simple food. Starch is a complex food or simple food. Complex food.
Complex.
So that is why to make it digestive easily. So our salivary gland will release an enzyme called as salivary amylase, which digests the starch present food into what? Into
Sugar.
Into what? Glucose. Understanding? So into glucose, or else we used to call as sugar. So you can call starch into sugar. So that is why the digestion of starch begins in the mouth itself. So as we know that the starch, we have a name of this one. Can you say that what is the name of that one? Starch in the sense of, it will start with the C.
Carbohydrates.
Carbohydrate.
That is what we should remember. Understand? So our chemical digestion also will start in our mouth itself. So since the food remains in the mouth only for a very short period of time, so the digestion of food remains incomplete in mouth. So only the complex food is converting into sugar. Starch is converting to the sugar with the help of enzyme called as salivary amylase. Understand? So but it will be very less time in our mouth, so that the complete digestion process won't be takes place. So from that, immediately it will enter. We have a strong pipe which will from here to inside stomach. So what is that pipe called as? What is that pipe called as? What is that pipe called as?
Food
We
pipe,
have
sir.
a food pipe. Understand? So now it will be very less time in our mouth so that the food will be entering into food pipe. It will be entering into food pipe. So let us see now from there what will happen. So as we know that, understand, like substances like if we'll take hydrochloric acid, the enzymes, understanding like pepsin, mucus, and all will be releases in the sense of gastric juices once will entering into the stomach. But if we'll take here, we have understanding some kind of tube which will carries that understanding. So if we'll if we'll swallow the food which is slightly digested from our mouth, understanding, which is digested in our mouth, it will be swallowed by the tongue and goes down. If we swallow, our tongue is involved or not? Do you notice it? Just to try action of swallowing. Who is helping in swallowing? Who is helping in swallowing? You just try. You can see our tongue is involving or not? Yes or no? If you are not saying, then what I will do? So our tongue is
Yes, sir.
helping us in
Yes, sir.
swallowing the food. So whatever the food is swallowed by the tongue and will goes into a pipe called as what we should call a food pipe, which is known as
Food pipe.
Esophagus.
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 Esophagus. So now food is entering into the esophagus called as food pipe. So now this esophagus carries the food to the main part of digestive system, only called as what?